Hello, let's have a seat, please, if you don't mind. It is 9:21. Thank you, everyone, for staying, being patient while we work through the process. Okay. So where we last left, there was a motion for an amendment, and then there was an amendment that was seconded for discussion.
For discussion.
And that, Jen, is that written down in the minutes too?
That it was seconded for discussion. And I seconded it for discussion because I would like to discuss where we're going to go from here with regard to our next steps for an ad rental. Now, I do know that there was another proposal here, so we can discuss this and then, you know, yay, nay, mats, and move forward.
Yes, Mr. Martin. Yes, Mr. Martin.
On the agenda, under the superintendent's report, there was a recommendation to start an architectural search. I'm in the process of writing a request for proposal for an architect, and some of those draft notes are available. My working documents. It's not been drafted or formed, and I just would point out to you that that topic about the architectural search is coming up later in the agenda. I mean, as an idea, if you wanted to set aside, or whatever the right parliamentary procedure, this discussion on that, we could go to that. And I don't know if that'll help Matt or not, but, and his motion, but I just want you to know it's coming up.
Okay. So, now that we've discussed that motion and where it might lead, thank you, we can...
I would like to say something, that my intent was not to derail anything. I want to see Mr. Bell and his group go forward. And I kind of take it differently than you, because I think it's an opportunity for the board to live up to what they've all said, and we've agreed to at meetings. That, and I understand Nathan's reserve. He's been that way, and I agree with it. And I'd also made a point to point it out to him. If we go forward and look at this ad reno project or whatever it is, and we're not ready, then we're not going to do anything about it, but keep it in-house. And Mr. Bell, having them to look at it as we go through the process of developing it, having him throw his eyes on it and contemplate that this is exactly what we've been talking about, we will have lost time. I'm as confident, as qualified as Mr. Bell and his group are, looking at an old new, the old new building that was proposed at last election, to me, doesn't qualify as something worthy of his time. He's got a very important task in front of him to generate consensus amongst the town. The intent is not to do that. The intent is to have him look and say, this ad reno plan that you have in front of you is exactly what you need for an ad reno. Not yay or nay, this doesn't help, or not this is the final decision of the board, so I'm useless. I still want to engage Mr. Bell. I have every intention of putting this forward, but I just wanted to feel, confident that the status of the board was, in general consensus, was to move the two together in tandem. That was the plan. Moving forward with this meeting tonight, I felt was a little early, because I didn't quite understand what we were going where we were going to go with it, because I would have enjoyed the opportunity to understand the function of the two boards, which is what I thought tonight was. I didn't understand that tonight we were going to engage or vote on Mr. Bell. I thought we would have more conversations, just like we wanted more conversations on the ad rental plan that's been put forward. So nothing's really changed, except that I wanted to get clarification, not clarification, I want to feel reassured and confident that not only are we going to move forward with Mr. Bell, we're going to give him some quality information in an ad reno that the town has never voted on. It may be that Mr. Bell says that this doesn't work, then I'm happy with that. But having him look at old information is like giving a student a textbook that is outdated. And that's not something that I'm willing to spend $30,000 on. I want to have good use of his time and evaluate the ad reno plan for what it is. I'm not going to push this down the road. I don't have a personal agenda, other than to say that an ad reno plan is something that this town has never seen, a fair one. As much as you complained about the previous administration, about their lack of sensitivity and inclusion of the entire community, this is not about me. This is about the town and putting forth and having Mr. Bell and his group of more overqualified consultants evaluate our plan. And having him look at an old plan that the town's voted down 3 times, I think is just a waste of money.
Is there any other discussion?
I would like to say this, just to clarify. I completely follow policy and rules. I feel like we have all learned from the past, and that if anybody asks, we've all said, we will try to do this as publicly as possible. And I think that was Matthew's intent. I don't think he meant to insult anybody. Certainly didn't mean to raise the ruckus. That happened. It was meant for discussion, and I appreciate you putting yourself out like that and taking those remarks. And again, these are the discussions people need to see us have, because we can't have discussions on the phone. We can't email each other. You have to have them here, as much as difficult as they are. So thank you for doing that.
I think at our last meeting, and just to add this, and then let's move this forward, we discussed right to know, and we discussed quite openly that if someone was going to be making a motion or a discussion point, that it was perfectly fine to let other members of the board know that that was coming, because it was going to be publicly stated. So I felt that when we discussed it at our last meeting, that that was the understanding. And I think tonight was a very big surprise for many of us. So we're voting on Matt Evangelista's amendment. Can you call the roll, please, Mr. Martin?
Yes. Mary Jane Hilton,
Nay.
Matt Evangelista,
Yes.
Elizabeth McKinney,
Nay.
Nathan Lunny,
Nay.
Gail DeRocher.
Nay.
The motion fails. So at this point in time, the original motion is on the floor. Do we have a reading of that?
One more time. Okay.
No, that's not it.
Oh, not this one?
No,
Maybe
that's
another
the
one.
amendment. I think the first motion is to contract with Randy Bell, right? Nathan, was this the first or the second? This was your first amendment?
This is the first and the
You have to
second.
ask the secretary.
No.
Jen,
no.
do you mind reading what?
No, the First Amendment passed.
Yes.
Yes.
We're
That
just
was the
asking
first
her to read it again, if
Yeah.
you don't mind.
Something like, to accept the consultant's proposal authorizing up to $30,000 and direct,
The
I
creation.
can't make the words add up, but
Okay, then it is
It's,
Nathan's first.
Nathan's motion, the evenly numbered committee to be determined by the school board and the consultants.
Thank you.
That's not English, but
yeah.
So that has been seconded.
yes.
3 in favor, 2 against. So,
That was approved. So what we're
Right.
voting on is that motion as amended, as she read.
okay. Can you call the roll, please?
Mary Jane Hilton,
Aye.
yes? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Nathan Evangelista?
Matt.
Matthew,
It's late.
Matthew Evangelista,
Yes.
Elizabeth McKinney,
Yes.
Nathan Lunny,
Yes.
Gail DeRocher.
Aye.
That's a
Madam
yes. Is that a yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is approved, 5-0.
I would ask that you and the superintendent confer on the agenda, contemplate any action items that need to be considered immediately this evening. Rush that to the immediate agenda now, and then we adjourn this meeting as quickly as possible. I do not feel at this hour, after a tour that started at 5, we are in any position as a board of 5 people to contemplate anything that we don't have to, and I would ask that you table that until the agenda of the next meeting.
I second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye. I think the meeting's adjourned. I think everything on this agenda can wait until the next meeting.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.